Part of the town-gown relationship in a major university city such as Bloomington involves money. How does Indiana University and the city of Bloomington interact in overlapping areas that have financial costs? Bob Zaltzberg investigates in this City Limits story.
Students return this week to class at Indiana University. It's like having two towns in one as the quiet, relaxed days of summer fade and the city's population nearly doubles. Pamela Davidson loves a lot that Indiana University brings to Bloomington, but she's bothered about something. IU covers nearly 3 square miles inside the city of Bloomington and doesn't pay property taxes on it.
Well, we all know IU is tax exempt. There's no changing that. But I am the wife and the daughter of economists, and we know there's no such thing as a free lunch. So I have long been interested in how Indiana University contributes to the cost of their being here.
If you think of the relationship between IU and Bloomington, it's like having a city within a city. And both of the entities have to learn how to coexist.
The relationship between the university and the city of Bloomington is quite strong.
Morrison says he and other university officials talk regularly with city counterparts. For him, that's Deputy Mayor Mick Renneisen. Renneisen says IU does make a direct payment for a service the university doesn't provide for itself.
The city has a direct payment relationship for fire protection at the Woodlawn Station on campus. So IU provides the land and the facility and pays for the firefighters and any improvements to the facility on an annual basis.
That works out to about $1.3 million a year. IU owns the tallest buildings in Bloomington, so the university helped buy a 100-foot ladder truck. IU picked up more than 80% of the $1.2 million cost. IU has its own police department, but pays Bloomington for special events that require extra officers. That usually works out to about $60,000 a year in overtime that's reimbursed to the city. In addition to direct payments, estimates show in 2018, IU paid about $7.6 million to local governments through a Monroe County income tax. The city receives about half of that.
The university's salaries are a significant contributor to our local income tax, which does fund city government services.
Transportation is another area of cooperation. University buses have 3 million riders a year, city buses have 3.5 million riders a year, and IU pays the city to maintain its buses. Morrison says the millions of student riders help Bloomington Transit attract more federal funding, which is based on ridership. Still, Morrison concedes that tensions persist.
There are always cultural issues in terms of, think of issues of public safety and, that's where we are one community.
Renneisen just returned from a meeting of Big Ten city managers. He says the issue about payments and services came up a lot. So did affordable housing, sustainability practices, impact of student housing on neighborhoods, and transportation and mobility issues. Land use issues can be sticky, but Renneisen says history gives Bloomington officials comfort.
When the university wants to build something, we really don't worry too much. Their standards are pretty high. They probably would exceed anything we would ever put in our building code. Despite
tensions, Renneisen says a major university makes the city more interesting, prosperous, and livable.
The benefit of having an institution like Indiana University in our community is it's a tourism attraction. So people that come here for arts or culture or sports or continuing education, when they're here, they're spending money on all kinds of things.
Morrison says just consider what could happen if IU were in the private sector.
We often joke within a university is, imagine if a university could pick itself up like a corporate headquarters and move to a different community. What would the bidding be like to have a university in your hometown? And of course we can't, and we're not. But in today's world of economic development, universities are prize crown jewel in any university, in any community that has one.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Bob Zaltzberg.
Morrison says questions about IU's tax-free status will continue to come up, but he says that the state and federal governments long ago determined higher education is something that is more of a benefit to society than a cost. As part of our City Limits series, we answer the questions you want to know about the past, present, and future of the Bloomington community. You can join the conversation and submit your questions by going to WTIU.org/citylimits.